Okay, I think we are all set. Okay, welcome and very good evening. So I thought let me spend 10-15 minutes with you in explaining about the Buddha's teachings in terms of what it is supposed to be in simple words, in simple English. So yesterday we had planned this, and if we really see that we couldn't meet, and then today we wanted to do, and again we had these small things happening, which stops us from not proceeding. So this is called as conditioning. So one of the major thing about the Buddha teachings is to understand that everything is preconditioned. So as long as things are working as per conditions, it seems to be working. If one of the conditions were not to work for whatever reason, it causes anxiety, distress, and a kind of vexation to get rid of that what is not working. So what we think is happiness is basically we are trying to get rid of that anxiety or the vexation we are in. And another problem which happens is that all the elements we have as a person, as a thing, as a role, as whatever we're trying to do all the time is not only conditioned, it doesn't go as per one's wish, and also there is no control. So let me give certain examples to explain to you what it really means. Let's say that each one of us have a name, and if you really see, when we were born, we were not sure on the name. It was kept by our parents. So absolutely, we have no idea that what we are really, because when we were born, we were just named and we were not aware of it. Even if I didn't like the name, it would take me considerable amount of years to go and change my name. So there is a kind of dissatisfaction on one side in anything we do. And another thing is that there is this ignorance on why certain things have been there, like our name. And if we notice, we get certain roles all the time. As a child, there is a role, and as a teenager, there is a role. Like an adult, there is a role, and we go to jobs, there is a role to be played, and we have parents, so we have a role to play there as son or daughter or something like that. And if we are married, then we have a role to play as an husband or a wife or something like that. If we have children, then we have a role to play like a father or something like that, or a mother. Then we have friends, so that's another role to play. So if we really see that what we're doing on a daily basis, every moment, we are trying to meet the role, which we don't know what the role is all about. So nobody has come and said that in this role you're supposed to do this, because they also don't know what the role is. So we assume a role which we not sure what we are supposed to do. We just copy what is being done by another person. So we take somebody as a role model and we just replicate that. While we are young, we copy the teacher, we copy certain things from our parents, and we make our personalities out of it, and not being aware that what actually we are, because that's exactly what everybody is doing. So then we come up with concepts through language. So we create a language and we believe that that's a language by it's 100% the best thing to do. And then we believe that there is a country and I love that country. So whenever a flag is shown to me from childhood and been said that this is the country that flag represents and you are born in this country, and you are so lucky to be born in this country and all that, and that sticks to my memory too. So if I really see on what's happening is that somehow or the other, I get married to something which I am not too sure what it is at all. So there is always going to be suffering or distress to maintain that role, and I have no control on that role because the role is dependent on situations. It depends on a condition, and when the condition meets, I am doing that role. If the condition doesn't meet, and then I cannot perform that role anymore. So the personalities and the relationships are totally conditioned. So Buddha started investigating and found out that these roles we create are something like we create form out of that role. So each one of us have a mental image of what a friend should be, what a father should be, a mother should be, a brother should be, a sister should be, an employee should be, and a co-worker should be. So like that, we keep on creating these mental images, and we have feelings associated with those mental images, which would say that in this role, this is what it should be. So we start evaluating that, and that creates a kind of perceptions to say that this is the way and this is not the way. So we always have feelings and perception going together. To make sure everything works in our life, we have to keep on doing certain activities, and we have to prepare for those activities all the time. So there is this uh, preparations, and then there is this consciousness. So basically, if we were to segregate and see, we have a body, we have a mind, and we have consciousness. Sometimes we believe we are the body, sometimes we believe we are the mind, and sometimes we believe we are the consciousness. So we keep on trading this all the time, and we don't know that we are having consciousness. Sometimes we become conscious about it, but most of the time we lead ourselves to believe that the person is the body because we have created a mental form. So there's a body, so I am the body and I reside in the body, and this is my body. This is one way of looking at it. And then this is me, and I don't know about the mind, but I feel I am the mind. And I feel, when we say mind, it is having feeling. So I feel I doing this, I feel that this is happening, I feel that I'm sorrow, I feel that I'm very happy, I feel very glad. So this is what the mind is all about. So we keep on either feeling in the mind, or we keep on feeling in the body, or we keep on feeling in both. And that I call it as myself. And sometimes this consciousness comes on, and then it creates an awareness. And when that happens, the person feels literally happy out of the world, just like you see a mountain ranges or you see a beach, and you forget all about your body and the mind, and then you feel that bliss kind of an experience. And that's consciousness, which creates that for us, because there is neither body nor mind at that point in time. Another example you could see is that when we go for deep sleep, there is no identity. So we don't remember of having a body when we slept deeply, and we didn't have a mind. So we get refreshed because there's no identity as a body and the mind. So we're still alive, but there is nothing to identify with. So what we call as the liberation is nothing but being just in awareness and not associating oneself with either body or the mind, just like when we go for deep sleep. So when we start investigating ourselves on the each of the roles, what we do, which is not true, and it is we come to know that everything is conditioned, and it's not that my wish is going to change that in any way, those conditions. So everything is condition oriented, and everything has a dependent origination, and everything we do in our lives ultimately turns out into memory. So our meeting 10 minutes back has become a memory now. So we cannot live that experience anymore. Even though it is getting recorded, we just cannot do anything about living in that. So there is no past as such, and there's no future as such. It's just the the present thing what we're doing. So once we start living in the present, not expecting anything on the future, or not brooding over the past because they're just memories, and then we find this ultimate happiness. And in Pali it's called as nibbana, and in Sanskrit it's called nirvana, because it's unconditioned. So consciousness is unconditioned, it's there all the time. Mind and the body is conditioned, and the personality of the person is also conditioned. So this is what I just wanted to speak to all of you as a small introduction, and maybe we can meet up uh, tomorrow or something like that for an hour, depending upon how you like it, and then we can go deeper from here. So the Buddha teachings is about, number one, understanding that everything is based upon condition, and that is called as Sankata in Pali. And number two is that since everything is not only conditioned, it is also not as per what one expects it to be, because everything comes to do some dependency factor, and those dependencies are beyond anybody's control. So that is called as anatta in Pali. And also, it's not as per one wishes it to be. So just because wishing something, just like, my laptop is not able to work on the voice for whatever reason, even if I were to wish that it should work, it might not really work. So because some condition has changed there, it's not about my wish and not wishing. So this is called as anicca. And there is suffering if I were to believe that my laptop is going to working forever. So that's called dukkha. So we have this anxiety or vexation or suffering or fear. All of that is part of a word called as dukkha. It's the same in Sanskrit as well as in Pali. So when we start investigating deeper, we come to know that if the conditions were to change, things changes. If the condition were to remain the same, and the things remain the same. So what we call as a personality, what we call as a role, we're trying to play. As long as it is working, it seems to be working, and it seems to be going as per one's wish. And when the roles get changed due to situations presented outside by another person, because he's also playing that same role, and things go haywire and we don't know what to do. So this is an in introduction about what the Buddha's teaching is all about. Any questions you have before we just close as a small testing what we did? Okay, so do let me know what date and what time works out for you. If you're the same time is going to work for you tomorrow, we can meet up. I can meet up even earlier than this, like I can meet at say around 6:30 India time. It might be just 1 hour before what we sorry, half an hour before what we started. So if that works out for you, we can meet tomorrow, and then we can go deeper for on the teachings and how we can experience it ourselves. So we can do all of that. So do let me know what time is workable for you. And this thing is recorded, so I will conclude the recording, and then we can leave. Okay.